Jai Hind everyone, my name is Anupama Thakur and I am from Bilaspur, Himachal Pradesh. Today I am here to speak in detail about British India, a long and transformative period that shaped the political, social and economic identity of nation. Understanding this era is important because it helps us appreciate the journey of India took from being a land of kingdoms and empires to becoming a free and democratic nation. The story of British India began in early 1600 when the British India Company arrived simply as traders. They came looking for spices, textiles, and opportunities for commerce, but over the years their intention changed through clever diplomacy, manipulation, and Indian rulers and a series of strategic battles. The British slowly moved from trade to territorial control. What started as commercial activity eventually turned into political domination. A major turning point came in 1757 with the Battle of Plassey, when the British defeated Siraj ud Daulah, the Nawab of Bengal. This victory allowed them to expand rapidly, and another important battle, the Battle of Buxar in 1764, gave them the right to collect revenue from Bengal, Bihar, and Odisha. Slowly, the India became economically dependent on the company. They used policies like subsidiary alliance and the doctrine of lamps, which weakened Indian kingdom and helped the British annex state after the state. Economically, this period was extremely damaging for India. Our traditional industries, especially textiles, which had once made India famous around the world, were destroyed. Heavy taxes were imposed on farmers, and India was turned from a prosperous exporter of fine goods into a supplier of raw materials. Poverty and famine increased, and the million of Indians suffered under unjust policies. But the greatest challenge to British authority came in 1857 when soldiers, peasants, landlords, and ordinary people rose together in what we now call the First War of Independence. Although the revolt did not succeed, it sent a clear message to the British that Indians were no longer willing to accept foreign domination. After crushing the revolt, the British government took direct control over India by ending company rule. This marked the beginning of the British Raj. Under the British Raj, India was ruled by a viceroy who represent the British crown. New administrative system, courts, and law were introduced, but most high positions were kept exclusively for the British railway, telegrams, and roads were built, but their main purpose was to serve British economic interests, not the welfare of India farmer, not the welfare of Indians, but the farmer were forced to go and grow cash crops like cotton, indigo instead of food grains, which led to recurring famines. India's wealth was drained continuously, and the gap between the rich and the poor widens. Yet the period also brought social and cultural changes. The British introduced Western education and English language, which unexpectedly helped create a new generation of educated Indians. These were the people who later questioned British rule and demanded political rights. Social reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Ishwar Chandra, and Swami Vivekananda worked tirelessly to fight evils such as sati pratha, child marriage, and inequality. However, the British also practiced divide and rule policies, encouraging religious and caste differences to weaken Indian unity. By the late 19th century, the spirit of nationalism began to rise in 1885, the Indian National Congress was formed. At first, its leader used moderate and peaceful method to demand reforms, but soon leaders like Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai, and Vipin Chandra Pal began demanding complete independence. The desire of for Swaraj self-rule grew stronger across the nation. A major shift came when Mahatma Gandhi returned. to the India in 1915. He introduced the principles of non-violence and mass participation in freedom struggles. Under his leadership, India witnessed three major movements: the non cooperation movement, the civil disobedience movement, and the Quit India movement. These movements brought the million of ordinary Indians into the struggle, including students, farmers, women, and workers. Gandhi transformed the freedom fight from a political issue to a national cause. By the 1940s, the British were weakened by the effect of World War II. At the same time, India leaders such as Jawaharlal Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose, and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel intensified the demand for freedom. The British realized that they could no longer hold India by force. Finally, on 15 August 1947, the India achieved independence after almost 200 years of British domination. However, independence also came with the painful partition of India and Pakistan, which caused great suffering and displacement. As I conclude, the history of British India teaches us many lessons. It shows us how foreign rule can exploit a nation's resources, how division can weaken a society, and how unity and determination can defeat even the strongest of empires. Most importantly, it reminds us that the freedom we enjoy today is the result of countless sacrifices made not by the few leaders but by millions of ordinary Indians. Let us always remember this journey and continue to work towards a future that honors those sacrifices. Thank you, Jai Hind.